Hi, everyone. This is Jessica Santos, nurse practitioner with Illuminate Functional Wellness. I'm popping in today to talk about a trend that I'm seeing in urgent care right now and to offer some guidance around that. That's vomiting. So I just did a previous video on the respiratory viruses that I'm seeing going around urgent care and natural ways to combat that. So if you missed that, you could head over to my page on Facebook, Illuminate Functional Wellness, and my website, www.illuminatefunctionalwellness.com. And I talked about a lot of natural ways, including herbs and vitamins and homeopathic remedies to help combat viral infections in general, but of the respiratory variety. But this virus that I'm seeing kind of going around our community, and you guys are probably seeing this, all around the country, but this virus is really also including gastrointestinal distress. So people are having a lot of vomiting with this virus that's going around. So we're testing for COVID and it's negative in a lot of cases, and we're seeing some flu, but not a ton of influenza. And then there's this other virus that's going around, and now we're seeing a lot of vomiting along with a cough, sore throat, fever, body aches, ear pain, congestion, all of that. So, and why I wanted to jump on is because I'm seeing a lot of the same themes going around where there's just a lot of fear around not eating, and not eating is okay. When we aren't eating, we are actually improving our immune system. We're reducing inflammation. We're starving out viruses. So, not eating is not the end of the world. So, you've been sick before, you don't have a whole lot of an appetite, and that's okay. You don't have to force yourself to eat, especially if you're having vomiting or diarrhea. And I understand a lot of the parents are very concerned when they have young children who aren't eating or not hungry. But just remember how you feel when you're sick. You don't really want to eat if you're sick. You don't have much of an appetite. And if you're throwing up every time you eat, of course, you don't feel like eating because it doesn't feel very good to throw up. So, I want to really kind of talk about what we can do to kind of get through the couple days where your gastrointestinal tract is not very happy. So, if you're not eating, that's okay. If you're not hungry, that's okay. If you're not keeping food down, that's okay for a short period of time. What we're most concerned about is fluids. We need to make sure that the patient is getting plenty of fluids, that they're urinating frequently, as frequently as possible. For young children, we want to make sure that they're urinating a good wet diaper, heavy wet diaper, at least 3 times in a 24-hour period. If that's not happening, they need to go to the emergency room. Okay. We're looking for things like tears. When a child is dehydrated, they're crying and they're not making tears. They're not drooling. Their mucous membranes might be very dry, right? They're not shiny and moist. And if we're seeing that, then the patient might be dehydrated and they might actually need to go to the emergency room. Most urgent cares don't offer IV replacement. So ER, if you think that the person is dehydrated. For an adult, if you're literally feeling weak, like you're going to fall down, you are passing out, obviously that's emergency room. But I want to try to help you prevent getting that far. So fluids are the most important thing. Clear liquids, right? If you have a baby who's nursing, obviously nurse as often as possible. But toddlers and up that are taking in fluids, we really want to force water, ice chips, things like that. Popsicles are the next best thing. If you can make your own at home, that would be ideal. But sometimes you just need to run to the store and grab some Pedialyte, right? And if you're going to do that, make sure you're getting the colorless, the flavorless. We don't have all the junk added to that. And I typically will water that down a little bit. You could do a coconut water. Coconut water is a really good electrolyte replacement. Just don't do too much because it can increase diarrhea. So usually 1 serving a day is fine. And don't get the coconut water with all the added flavors like mango and pineapple and all the sugars, because those can increase diarrhea. So water, electrolyte replacement, clear liquids, right? So anything that you can see through, popsicles, that sort of thing. And I usually say to rest the gut for at least 12 to 24 hours. So clear liquids only during that time. And if we're able to kind of get the vomiting under control, and after that period, you're feeling like you can start to add in a little bit of food, then we recommend the brat diet. And that's bananas, rice, if you tolerate it, applesauce and dry toast or crackers. I usually recommend to stay gluten-free at that time just because we don't want to irritate a gut that's already irritated. And we don't want to do dairy or anything fried, fatty, or spicy. And you can do that brat diet for 12 to 24 hours as well. And then if you're tolerating those foods, you're keeping those down, you're keeping your fluids down, then you can slowly start to tolerate increased foods is tolerated. So things like broths and very well cooked soups and stews, but you're going to want to avoid sugars and dairy and gluten and anything really heavy. What I'm noticing, especially in parents, is they're so afraid that their kids aren't eating that they're like bribing their kids with McDonald's and pizza and cupcakes and cookies and milkshakes and wonder why they're vomiting still after 7 days. So we can't do that. Our gut was just assaulted with a virus and it's irritated, and we can't put non-food items in or very heavy or rich or unhealthy foods and expect us to be able to tolerate it. Your body's going to reject that. So as it should. So, there are things that we can do from a medical standpoint. Sometimes getting a prescription for an antiemetic is necessary to get you to stop throwing up so that you're not dehydrated and end up in the emergency room. So there are times that it is appropriate to come into the urgent care to be evaluated, or, seeing your regular doctor. Going into urgent care, you're probably going to leave with something you didn't have when you came in. So, you might come in with the stomach flu and end up with, a respiratory flu or COVID. So, if we can try to keep you out of a waiting room for long periods of time, that would be ideal. But obviously, if you can't see your primary care doc, come on into urgent care, make sure that, the patient isn't dehydrated or something else isn't going on. And then I like essential oils for the nausea and the upset stomach. I really like doTERRA's Digest Zen. You can do that topically over the belly. That's something that I keep at home. When the kids were younger and they were getting the stomach flu often, I would use that, and it really does help just to kind of settle the nausea. Hot baths can be very comfortable, and then just lots and lots of rest. Lots of rest, and resting the gut is really important. Stay tuned. I'll bring topics up as I'm starting to see them, trends as I'm starting to see them come through urgent care, and give kind of more natural ways to look at things. And I'll also be bringing up more functional medicine related topics. So you can follow me on my Facebook page. You can head to my blog on my website, and there's even a YouTube channel where we're going to start posting some of these videos. So Illuminate Functional Wellness is the practice name, and you can find us on the social media, YouTube, and my email is info@illuminatefunctionalwellness.com. If you're interested in becoming a patient or learning more about some of our common ailments, follow the blog, and there'll be some videos and written content there as well. Thanks for listening, and let me know if I can help. Talk to you later. Bye.